Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cop Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are having a fantastic day from wherever you are around the world. And welcome back to another episode on the channel. Tonight, we are, of course, going to be talking a little bit about transfers in tonight's video. And again, we're going to be talking about Matheus Nunes and, everything that has happened since yesterday. And, well, of course, in yesterday's video. And, of course, the confirmation that Liverpool are not going to be pursuing him. We'll have a bit more details about that anyway. And of course, the breaking news that Harvey Elliott has signed a brand new 5-year deal at the club. We'll be speaking about that. And of course, guys, let me know your thoughts, your reactions in the comment section down below. If you're watching on repeat as well, then please do let me know in the comment section down below. And again, I do apologize if you can hear fans. It's boiling in the room. It's boiling everywhere at the minute. And hopefully all of you are staying safe, hydrated, and all that good stuff. Anyway, but guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let me know how all of you are on this Thursday afternoon. I couldn't even remember what day it was. That's how excited I am for tonight's video. Anyway, but guys, let me know how all of you are. If you're new around here as well and viewing this for the first time, then please hit that subscribe button. It'd be very much appreciated as always. Please hit that like button as well. Again, all the support on the channel is massive. So again, guys, thank you very much for all the support on the channel lately. Anyway, but let's get in then to, of course, the news. And we're going to start off with this man. We're going to talk about Harvey Elliott and his brand new contract, of course. Now, this is one that I think none of us were pretty much, so I think pretty much all of us were surprised at with the news this morning. But of course, looking at it, of course, it's not really surprising, is it, that Harvey Elliott is getting a brand new deal anyway? But yes, he has extended his contract until 2027, another 5-year deal for the young Harvey Elliott, and Liverpool's number 19. Of course, I was going to say 17 then, but yes, number 19 for Liverpool as well. And for me, it's deserved. If you look at it, and I know plenty of people will say, oh, well, he signed a deal last year, didn't he? And that is correct. He did sign a contract extension last year for 5 years. But I think this is obviously a much improved and a much senior role at the club as well. I think, look, we've all seen the progression of Harvey Elliott. We all knew that last year was going to be, the start of Harvey Elliott and what he could produce in a Liverpool team. But now, of course, this season, this summer, with the injuries that we currently do have, of course, Harvey Elliott is going to be such, an important player for the early stages of this season and the entirety of the season as well as a whole. So for me, look, it's tremendous as well. Again, I saw people like today complaining about Harvey Elliott getting a new deal, or why are we signing a midfielder, this, that, and the other. Shut up. That's my honest answer and honest thoughts about it. But for me, Harvey Elliott is the future. Same as Fabio Carvalho. They're both going to be amazing for the club, short term and long term as well. And I think, look, guys, and let me know, guys, your thoughts in the chat as well. For me, look, Harvey Elliott, I thought last season he was going to be, a star. This season, I think he's going to be, even more of a star. Given that opportunity on the right-hand side of the pitch, I think personally he will be amazing. Anyway, but of course, we do have the likes of James Pearce also, having a word on it, saying new 5-year deal for Harvey Elliott, rewarded for his exciting development, will have a big part to play for Liverpool, for LFC this season, of course. And with the injuries, like we have spoken about, to Thiago, it now gives him that door of opportunity to, again, come in and, practically put a stamp on that midfield. Again, for me, a nailed-on starter for Crystal Palace. Of course, we're going to have our Crystal Palace preview tomorrow for you guys at 9 o'clock. So if you guys want to tune in for that, anyway, of course, we post anyway throughout the day when we're going to be live and so on. But for me, I think, look, at the same time, it's going to be interesting, isn't it, whether or not we see him now play, regular football. Obviously, it's similar. I think like him, Fabio Carvalho, Curtis Jones, they're all in that same bracket where they're at different stages of development. But I think you've got, obviously, Fabio Carvalho is at his early stages of development. Then you've got Harvey, then you've got Curtis Jones. Again, to get them 3 game times this season in the midfield, it's going to be interesting. I think more so Fabio Carvalho, because I think plenty of people have want him to play in the midfield, but I think you'll see him more on the left. Personally, I wouldn't honestly like that. I'd like to see him in midfield. I'd like to see him, being available in midfield on that left hand side. But for me, just going back on Harvey Elliott, I just think that he will be tremendous. I know he's given him that self. If you've watched the Red Men content, of course, he's given himself that goal of, I think it was 10 goals and 10 assists this season from midfield. If he could do that, then it'd be amazing. But you could tell, even on Saturday, against Fulham, when he come on, he changed the game. Like with Darwin Nunes, he changed the game. Got into that space, chose those pockets of space, and as well, to be in that advanced midfield role as well, for me, he's going to be so important for this season. Anyway, but guys, let me know your thoughts anyway in the comment section down below of Harvey Elliott getting a new deal. Anyways, but John's in saying, big up Connor, mate. You cheating bastard. Hope you're well. Doing very well, thank you, mate. Hi, Connor, and John as well. From Brian as well. Hello, Brian. Hope you're on a fantastic day, my friend. Brilliant for Elliott and Liverpool, Connor. Exactly, it is brilliant. And again, a proper, of course, he's been a Liverpool fan in his entire life. And again, he is the future. Plenty of people, I think, and especially, people on Twitter, especially like go on it and like, oh, they forget how special he is until he actually proves, people wrong again. And that's the thing, isn't it? Hi, Brian. Hope you're well as well. Big statement on our midfield plans as well from Brian. Yeah, exactly. Tying him down again as well. How come you and Jack are live at the same time? Don't know. Blame Jack. Again, I'm live at 9. That's literally me. Jack's meant to be live at 7 from now on, and he lied. So don't blame him. Signing him up, I mean, anyway, in terms of that, yeah, no, exactly, and it's a huge statement, isn't it? I think personally, I think it is a very much a huge statement. Again, the fact that I think even Jurgen spoke about it and said, there's more reliability on him now, and more, not more pressure, but more, more responsibility to produce more now. Now, again, it is still very young in his career, and don't get me wrong, he's only had a handful of games for Liverpool. But from the handful of games that we have seen him in, he's been amazing, hasn't he? Of course, last year didn't really have the end of season as well as I think all of us would have hoped that he would have had. Of course, I think pretty much all of us would have liked him to come back from his injury and to be that amazing midfielder again. And it wasn't that for Liverpool. Jurgen did keep him behind, didn't force him into things. And again, hopefully now we've got a better Harvey Elliott for this season. You'd hope. Anyway, but again, guys, let me know as well your thoughts on who could be the next one as well. I think there was even talk about Naby as well, his deal getting sped up over the next couple of weeks as well. So fingers crossed that does get done as well. I know a couple of people won't be happy with that, but for me, I am very happy if Naby does sign a new deal for Liverpool anyway. But guys, let me know your thoughts anyway in the comment section down below, because I think, again, for me, I think it is a perfect situation for Liverpool where, again, with Harvey Elliott, he knows that he's not gonna, he knows he's not gonna like demand for more than what he's already on. Then that's what you should say realistically, and I think that's the important thing where you look at it and go, he's not going to already go, oh, I want 200 grand a week. I want this, I want that. Look, I think Harvey knows he's going to be here for a very, very long time at Liverpool Football Club. And I don't think, of course, he'll want to go anywhere. But, of course, he will just progress more and more. As long as we don't offer him 5-year contracts every single summer, then we're good. But, of course, I think now, looking at, all the whispers about the contract and that, then it does look like it's going to be, of course, a more senior contract then for Harvey Elliott, which of course is fantastic news overall anyway. But guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below anyway about Harvey Elliott and of course him signing his brand new contract anyway for Liverpool Football Club anyway. But just let me know your thoughts on Harvey Elliott's brand new deal anyway. But guys, as well, there was news as well about Seb van der Berg as well today. Of course, Seb van der Berg out on loan last year at Preston did very, very well as well in the Championship, reading, what people had to say about him. Now, supposedly, Burnley and Blackburn are supposed to be fighting for Seb van der Berg on loan. But apparently Vincent Kompany very much wants to work with him, which is very interesting, I thought anyway. And of course, Blackburn, they have that working relationship with Liverpool. Of course, recently Tyler Morton going to Blackburn. Of course, we've had the likes of Harvey Elliott, for example, and of course, Leighton Clarkson as well, got on loan in recent years as well. But it will be interesting to see where Seb van der Berg goes. Again, I think he's only, 18 at the moment. Again, plenty more room for improvement. I don't think we saw much of him in pre-season. I think we saw, I think he was on the Asia tour, played, of course, alongside Nat Phillips. But apart from that, we didn't really see much. I think he was being held back for a move, but hasn't gone anywhere again as well. But I'd expect him to leave in the window anyway. But it will be interesting, I think, with Seb van der Berg. And as well, I'd probably like him to go Burnley, just to work under Kompany in that sense of the things anyway. But let me know, guys, your thoughts on Seb van der Berg as well, potentially going out on loan anyway. But Thiago's injury could be the chance he needs. Sometimes it happens that way. Exactly, Bright. I think, again, you look at it, and we've spoken about it, in terms of centre halves. Remember, back when we won the league, you'd have, Virgil van Dijk constantly being there. Then it was, the rotation between Joel Matip, Dejan Lovren, and Joe Gomez, and that was the constant thing where, those three would rotate, because one would be injured 1 week, then the other one would come in, do about 2-3 weeks, then get injured. And then, of course, Joe Gomez come in and, was phenomenal alongside Virgil van Dijk, but then got injured himself, which allowed the likes of Dejan Lovren and Joel Matip to go back into the squad. So, again, it works like that. And it's a similar thing with the midfield at the minute. And I think that was what will happen now throughout the season. You'll see, of course, now at the minute, probably our best midfield, I would say personally, is probably Fabinho, Naby, and Harvey Elliott at the moment. But you look at it in about 6 weeks' time, it could be Henderson, Thiago, and, I don't know, Carvalho. You never know. Again, you don't know on injuries. Hopefully not. Of course, hopefully we'll have the best midfield possible once Thiago is back in 6 weeks' time. But again, what's our best midfield? And let me know, guys, your thoughts on this as well in the chat. What is Liverpool's best midfield with everyone fit? For me, if you're talking about, creativity and, scoring goals and other things as well, for me personally, my midfield three would be Fabinho, Thiago, and Harvey Elliott. I think we've seen that once, and that was away to Inter Milan, I think. And actually, no, apologies. I think we've seen it twice. I think we saw it at Leeds, where Harvey got his injury, and of course we saw it against Inter Milan in the Champions League in the first leg. So again, I'd much prefer. I'd like to see that midfield a lot more this season, but again, with the injuries to Thiago, it doesn't help it, does it? Realistically as well. But guys, let me know your thoughts in the chat as well. Let me know, your preferred Liverpool midfield as well. Because for me, I think Harvey Elliott is firmly in that conversation, because you look at it and you go down from it. The best three you'd say is probably Fabinho, Thiago, Jordan Henderson. That's the reliable three that Jurgen constantly goes with. And then down from that, what's the next three then? Harvey Elliott, Naby, and Curtis Jones, in terms of order. Put that in your own bracket, of course, but I'd say probably that. Obviously, Ox is last, obviously, which is sad. It is sad, but, again, I think Ox is, everyone can pretty much understand where that's coming from anyway, personally. To be fair, but we'll move on then to, of course, the other news about Matheus Nunes. Then, now, of course, guys, if you guys have been living under a rock, we did mention yesterday that reports in Portugal had claimed that Liverpool were preparing a €50 million bid for, of course, Sporting's Portuguese midfielder. Of course, this is the top outlet in Portugal. It was reporting that Liverpool were preparing a bid for around, of course, €50 million, which would be around £41 million in an altogether deal anyway. But last night, anyway, as you can see by there, at 12:51 last night, James Pearce told that talks Actually, no, apologies. That's the wrong tweet. That's the wrong tweet. I don't have the tweet now. But I don't know where that's gone. To be fair, that's from, of course, a couple, 2 weeks ago. I've got the wrong tweet. Apologies for that. Anyway, but again, Paul Joyce, last night confirming as well, this morning anyway, confirming that Liverpool are not pursuing a deal for Matheus Nunes. Anyway, I will try and get the James Pierce tweet up for you guys. Anyway, because I did make one of these for it, but for some reason I haven't added it in, which is me being stupid once again. Anyway, but for me, guys, again, as you can see, as it says there, Liverpool are not pursuing a deal for Matheus Nunes, and that's according to, of course, Paul Joyce as well. But if I quickly get it up for you guys anyway on Twitter, because I did save it, and apologies I haven't got it up. Sometimes I do forget my own head if it wasn't screwed on. Anyway, but as you could see, but there anyway, of course, James Pierce, reporting on it, saying reported a few weeks ago when rumours first come up that LFC were not interested, and believe that's still the case as well. And that was at, of course, as you can see, 12:49 a.m. last night. Anyway, that James Pierce was reporting on that. So James, I don't know why you're not sleeping, but I'm reporting Liverpool news at such a weird time. But yeah, as you can see, that was the tweet. Back in July anyway, saying that he told the talks of Liverpool bidding for Sporting Matheus Nunes is nonsense. Club stance unchanged regarding summer business. No plans to strengthen midfield further in this window as well. And of course, Paul Joyce as well, also confirming that, saying that Liverpool are not pursuing a deal for Matheus Nunes. So guys, let me know your thoughts as well on Liverpool not going after Matheus Nunes. Now, supposedly, what's happening with Matheus Nunes. Now, supposedly, Wolves are very interested in bringing him to towards their club as well. But supposedly, Matheus Nunes has turned down Wolves, saying that he's preparing a bid, preparing to join a top English club, which the Portuguese outlet today has said it's a battle between Liverpool and Manchester City. Now, the Manchester City thing has got a lot more noise over the last 24 hours because of Bernardo Silva and potentially joining Barcelona. But if you guys know, at the minute, Barcelona are currently in a mess. They can't register any of their new signings. I think Christensen and Kessie could leave Barcelona on Saturday if they're not registered. I think they could leave Barcelona on free transfers. So anyone interested in Kessie? Who knows? Anyway, but yeah, guys, for me as well, I read a little bit as well what James Pierce had to say on The Athletic as well. He did mention about Jude Bellingham as well, that Liverpool are keeping tabs on Jude Bellingham. Of course, they would have gone for him this summer if he was available on the market. And of course, Borussia Dortmund told Liverpool he's not for sale for anything this window anyway. So again, disappointing. But I think, look, we've all spoken about it. I spoke about it yesterday on yesterday's video as well. Liverpool are not going to panic. We're not going to panic by this summer. And again, it ties in a little bit into the Harvey Elliott stuff as well. The fact that he's been given the new contract as well, for me, shows that Liverpool have faith in the youngsters at the minute. And I'd expect that as well for the likes of Carvalho as well, in terms of being able and being given game time this coming season as well. But for me, guys, look, I'm not disappointed the fact we're not signing Matheus Nunes. I don't think Liverpool need a Matheus Nunes in the squad. If you're asking me realistically, I mentioned it yesterday. For me, it would either be Jude Bellingham or Nicola Barella. Plain and simple, that would be it for me. I think that's what Liverpool need. We need that next step up. Is Matheus Nunes that? No, I would say personally. But of course, if tomorrow Jurgen Klopp just signed Matheus Nunes, class he's the best midfielder in the world. I'm kidding, of course. Anyway, but again, for me, it does tie in a little bit to Harvey Elliott. And let me know, guys, your thoughts in the chat as well. That it does massively depend on what Liverpool plans are, and of course at the moment they're very much happy with what they have at the moment. Of course, Naby looks like he's back this week. I think Costas is back as well from that little knock that he's had. I think Curtis Jones is only one more week out as well. So you look at it at that stage, apart from Ox and Thiago, everyone else is pretty much back from injury within a week. So you look at it like that. Again, Liverpool's numbers are up then on that. But of course, it is disappointing. Look, don't get me wrong. I would absolutely love Liverpool to sign another midfielder, and that's one of the things we've talked about over the last 2 summers is the fact that Liverpool need a midfielder. But I said it on Twitter. I was listening to a Twitter space earlier on, and oh my god, like I'm so glad I don't listen to them because they are full of absolute idiots. Like I genuinely don't get people's thoughts and opinions sometimes. And look, everyone's right to their own opinion and their own thoughts, and don't get me wrong about that. But like I seen it earlier on, the fact that someone said they'd want they'd want Klopp sacked if we didn't beat Crystal Palace on Monday. They want him sacked, and we want to make a go at Pep Guardiola, and 60 or 70% of this Liverpool squad wouldn't fit in Pep Guardiola's style of football, and that's probably right, but it's not a Pep Guardiola style team. It's a Jurgen Klopp style team, and Jurgen Klopp is friggin' amazing. And if you think you can get better than Jurgen Klopp, I don't know what you've been drinking then realistically, because it's an absolute mess if you think that Jurgen Klopp isn't the right fit for Liverpool Football Club. I don't know where you've been over the last couple of years, but yeah, I just thought it was hilarious. But I put it on Twitter. If you guys are not following us on Twitter, it is at the Club Council. But I put it on Twitter earlier that I'm glad I don't listen to many Twitter spaces because I think even I saw it today that I think on this day in 2010 we signed Christian Pulisic, not Pulisic, sorry, Christian Poulsen from Juventus for 4 million. I'm like, Jesus Christ! If Twitter Spaces were around then, like we'd all be like everyone would be in a meltdown. Then I would say anyway, but it's ridiculous. As well, what I listened to earlier on. Brian says, I like Fabinho, Thiago, and Elliott too. Yeah, for me, I think that is the best midfield for Liverpool. And, that's no, dig at Jordan Henderson. I think in big games, I still think that three is probably the most reliable, especially, you look at the Villarreal game. I thought that was a bit of a weird one. I think when we started, was it Naby in that game? When we didn't go with Jordan Henderson, I didn't get that. Hendo, for games, you need reliability. Jordan Henderson 9 times out of 10 is your guy. But if you want, exciting football and progressive football like we might need against Crystal Palace on Monday, you start Harvey Elliott on that right hand side. For me personally, anyway. Talia O'Connor made up for Harvey. Hello, Gary. Hopefully, you're on a fantastic day, my friend. Anyway, but yeah, guys, it does massively depend as well in terms of Liverpool and midfielder. If they were to have one more serious injury to a central midfielder, then I do think then Liverpool might change their mind towards the end of the window. But again, it would have to take something drastic for Liverpool now to change their mind on the midfield. Personally, I would think that anyway. But of course, guys, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions in the comment section down below. For me, though, I'm over the moon that Harvey Elliott has signed his new deal. Again, if there's anyone that's new and anyone just tuning in as well, of course, we had the news earlier on about Harvey Elliott and his new deal, signing a new 5-year contract as well, which is absolutely amazing for the club as well. Obviously, being signed down and tied down to a new, more senior role in the team, which of course is amazing. As well, but of course as well, James Pearce also adding to it, saying new 5-year deal for Harvey Elliott, rewarded for his exciting development, will have a big part to play in Liverpool this season as well. And we've also spoken about Matheus Nunes, and Liverpool will not be pursuing a deal for Matheus Nunes this summer anyway. Of course, Paul Joyce, the most reliable Liverpool journalist at the moment, saying that Liverpool are not pursuing a deal for Matheus Nunes as well. And then also goes back then to, of course, James Pearce's tweet back even a month ago as well about Matheus Nunes, which again, for me, I think, look, I get people's frustration. I get people want a midfielder right now, and we could have a full-on rant. We could have a absolute rant video for you guys. But for me, look, I think at the end of the day, Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp, they know what they're doing. They know the strategy that they have. I think that next summer it's going to be a complete battle between Liverpool and Manchester City for Jude Bellingham. I think that's obviously the number one target for both of their clubs. Do I think anyone else is in the race? No. No, that's the simple thing. I don't think anyone else is in the race for Jude Bellingham. I do think it is just Liverpool and Manchester City, and especially if Bernardo Silva leaves this summer, Man City won't want to leave themselves, leaving high and dry as well. And like I said it on Jack's channel. For me, Liverpool and Man City at the moment, they are in a very similar stage in terms of transfers. You look at it this season, both Liverpool and City wanted a striker. City went out and got Erling Haaland. Liverpool, of course, got Darwin Nunes. But again, you look at it towards next season, City fans are already going on about, a midfielder. They'll want midfield reinforcers, especially if the likes of Gundogan leaves, Bernardo Silva, if he leaves as well. You look at us, next season, we won't have an Ox, we won't have a James Milner by the looks of things at the moment. We might not even have a Naby who doesn't sign a new deal as well. So Liverpool will have to sign probably more than one midfielder next summer. The way things are going at the present moment in time. But of course, I have complete faith in Jurgen Klopp and of course the transfer committee as well, because they've been right pretty much about every transfer. Apart from probably Loris Karius, then I think apart from that, then Liverpool have done quite well under Jurgen Klopp in the transfer window. Anyway, to be fair. But Brian says it's pretty risky. One knock to Fabinho and we're in all sorts of bother. But if the right player isn't available, we won't panic. Exactly, and that is the exact same thing as what I've just said. It is that, and the fact that Liverpool had the plan to go after Tchouaméni this summer. Of course, Tchouaméni didn't want Liverpool; he wanted Real Madrid from minute one, and that is fair enough. And of course, Liverpool was straight away outbid for Tchouaméni anyway, because of course PSG were furious with, Real Madrid were furious with, of course, PSG over Kylian Mbappe. So okay, we'll just go and sign him for 100 million euros. And of course, Liverpool wasn't willing to go and spend that type of money on Tchouaméni. Now, on the right player, potentially, and we have seen Liverpool have spent the money on the right player, Darwin Nunes, Virgil van Dijk, Alisson Becker as well, and potentially, and you'd all hope so, Jude Bellingham, Nicolo Barella. I think those two next season will definitely move next summer. Whether that be to Liverpool or City, I do think them two will leave, both respectively Borussia Dortmund and Inter Milan next season. Because when you do look at it, when you do go down from that, there isn't many other midfielders that are on the list. And I've seen plenty of people go on about Yuri Tillemans as well from Leicester. For me, no, I wouldn't want Yuri Tillemans, from Leicester. I do think he's a little bit lazy in the midfield. And overall, do I think that Yuri Tillemans would improve Liverpool's midfield? In in some aspects, yes, 100%. But do I think overall will he improve it? No. And plus, I don't think he's a Jurgen Klopp type midfielder. Anyway, but when you do look at that list and you look at players that are available at the moment, there isn't many, is there, on that list? And again, if you guys haven't read Pep Linda's book as well, I've seen a couple of course, little snips of it. Anyway, I haven't got the book yet. I am gonna get it over the next couple of days. Anyway, but again, you look at the clips like that, like when he speaks about Luis Diaz, and they did have, if Luis Diaz had gone to Spurs, in January, they did have someone in mind, but they felt that he didn't have the capabilities to make that next step up, to be that that Champions League bound or Champions League level mentality level. We pretty much know who he's talking about there, in terms of Danjuma from Villarreal. That's what we thought that comment was about. But again, probably if it's added on, it's like the midfield conversation again. We'll speak about this. Liverpool waiting for the right player, and of course, this has happened before. Virgil van Dijk, we didn't get him in the summer. In the summer window, and again, we probably won't get a midfielder in the winter window neither. But we waited for Virgil van Dijk. We wanted Virgil van Dijk apparently for like a year and a half before we actually got him. And again, whether or not, of course, we'll get our target with other teams going after, the players that we want as well. Who knows? We don't know yet. But I'm pretty confident Liverpool will look for the right player, identify the right player, and go all in for them as much as they can. Of course, Liverpool will have a strategy, for 4 or 5 players, not just one player. You look at Manchester United at the moment; they had one strategy for Frankie De Jong and haven't completely haven't had any strategy around any other players. And now they've looked at the likes of Rabiot. And they can't even get Rabiot over the line, neither, because I think his mother has said he wants Champions League level money, which, what does that mean? But yeah, it's hilarious at the moment around the Premier League as well. But again, I'd still say Liverpool are in a tremendous place at the moment as well. And, it's exciting to look forward to as well. Yes, it was last weekend was disappointing. But again, Monday night under the lights, Crystal Palace. Most likely we're going to see Darwin Nunes Anfield debut anyway in a Liverpool shirt. Of course, he's already played at Anfield in a Benfica shirt, but of course we'll have the match preview show tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Anyway, so guys, let me know as well your thoughts on everything that we've mentioned tonight. Let me know even your thoughts thinking ahead of tomorrow as well, for Crystal Palace as well, if you're watching on a repeat as well anyway. But just to just go over again what we've spoken about in tonight's episode anyway. Of course, we've spoken about this man, Harvey Elliott, getting his brand new deal for Liverpool. It is a 5-year contract. Of course, as you can see there from James Pearce, saying new 5-year deal for Harvey Elliott, rewarded for his exciting development. Will have a big part for Liverpool this season as well. And of course, we've spoken about this man, Matheus Nunes, as well. And of course, putting to bed the rumours anyway from yesterday. Of course, the Portuguese outlet, or the biggest Portuguese outlet, claiming that Liverpool were preparing a €50 million bid for Matheus Nunes. But of course, it has been shut down by, of course, Paul Joyce. And pretty much that's all the news of today anyway. And of course, Liverpool not pursuing a deal for Matheus Nunes. But of course, if there is any other news, of course, if anything does break whenever, we will be live straight away with it anyway. Of course, like I said, tomorrow, guys, will be a match preview show for Crystal Palace. Hopefully we'll get a couple of guests on as well and have a discussion about, of course, the midfield. We'll talk a little bit about Harvey Elliott's contract extension with others as well. And of course, we'll also speak about, starting 11s, score predictions as well, and have a look at Crystal Palace as well. I'm hoping for an opposition opposition view anyway on Saturday for you guys anyway. So hopefully all of you will stay tuned for that anyway. But if there is anyone new in the chat as well, and any new people watching, then please hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that notification bell as well to remind yourselves when we go live or post a video. We could go live pretty much 9 o'clock every single night. So if you guys want to tune in and all that good stuff, then please do. And again, thank you so much for the support lately over on the channel as well. If you're not following us as well on Twitter as well, that's where you'll get like all the notifications anyway of when we go live and all that good stuff. Anyway, let me quickly get it up on the screen for you guys anyway. Yeah, there we go, the Cop Council on Twitter. Anyway, if you guys want to come and follow us over on there, of course we do chat to you guys. Of course, we bring the latest over on there as well. And of course, we do have an occasional rant, as I did earlier on, about Twitter Spaces anyway. But guys, please stay safe, please stay well anyway. Not a long episode tonight. Again, it's ridiculously warm at the moment anyway, so please stay hydrated and please stay safe as well in these horrible conditions in the UK and Ireland as well. Anyway, but guys, like I do say, please stay safe, please stay well, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you all tomorrow for the match preview for Crystal Palace anyway, and hopefully the Reds can finally get a win in the Premier League, this coming season anyway. And hopefully we'll get to see Darwin Nunes start as well on Monday as well. But guys, like I said, please stay safe, please stay well. I've been Connor from the Cop Council. I'll see you all then. Ta-ra.